afternoon, everyone. I'm Janae Relaford Davis. I'm a Miss member. And let me hear you say, this is a celebration.
This is a celebration.
Yes, so I am presenting the 10-year history of Miss. And I'm starting with 2009 until 2014. And so I need you guys to say a little prayer for me on the inside because my heart is beating fast. Every time I speak before people, I get so nervous. But I want to do this justice because Miss deserves this to be done with justice. So I'm just going to start from the beginning because it was me and Miss Livingston.
All right.
At the Ad Hoc Group Against Crime, doing what we do, serving. And she said, Jay, that's what she called me, Jay. I want to talk to you about something. I have an idea. You know, at the Ad Hoc Group Against Crime, you know, our mission was supporting those impacted by homicide. So day in and day out, we're dealing with people who have lost loved ones to murder. So Ms. Livingston was thinking, well, what about the other side of that? You know, the perpetrator, those that have to be held accountable. You know, what about those impacted, the family members impacted by those experiences of losing loved ones to incarceration? And I felt it was a perfect fit, what she was saying. You know, we want to serve that population and somehow do it under the umbrella of the Ad Hoc Group Against Crime, or at least use the space of the Ad Hoc Group Against Crime to do that. And at the time, I was the vice president, so I had some power and some authority to say, yes, we will support this vision. You gotta have some power, you gotta have some authority, and each and every one of us in here have some power and we have some authority. Use that for the good of the community.
Amen.
So, you know, after we said we're gonna do this, we started inviting people to the office and having brown bags, and we wanted to kick it off. So Miss launched by inviting the late Joyce Brown, who was exonerated for a murder conviction in Texas. So we invited her to come, and it was an awesome event. Miss Research and Development included focus groups of families and friends of the incarcerated, formerly incarcerated people and persons concerned about mass incarceration. Miss had to develop strategies. We all know if you don't have a strategy, you're not going to be able to have advocacy and support, because you got to have strategies to advocate and support. So that's what we did. We created some strategies and we advocated and we supported. The Department of Corrections became the focus for understanding the prison experience. Inmate rights, policies, and procedures varied throughout the oppressive system, a force to be dealt with. Miss encouraged people how to challenge unjust treatment, how to be strong and tenacious. Gotta be strong, gotta be tenacious, and how to have a fortitude for change. That's courage. Fortitude means courage because it's going to take that. It takes courage to make a difference. There was an institutional attitude that screamed corruption, racism, and disparity. Miss became a collaboration of warriors and began to focus on the public policies. That's what we got to do, y'all. We got to attack the policies and the laws. So, we tackled HB 588, which is a long-term sentencing bill. So that bill dealt with the disparity between crack cocaine and powder cocaine. So you know how they do it, y'all. Doing it to us today with the opioid crisis. They didn't have sympathy for us with the crack epidemic, but now with the opioid epidemic, there's so much sympathy and so many resources for people who have that issue. Another one we tackled was the mandatory minimum sentencing, which of course people had to serve at least 85 to 65% of their sentencing. Inmate matters and concerns came in letters, reentry, persons, home plans, and more. Diverse membership grew inside and outside the bars. People became empowered, inspired, and encouraged to become their own best advocate. Guys, we gotta be our own best advocate.
Amen.
Nobody is going to advocate for us
You're right.
as strongly as we would advocate for ourselves.
That's right.
So we gotta do that. We gotta be our own best advocate. Calls to action. Engage individuals and family members dealing with incarceration to make contact, write letters, sign petitions, and more to get matters handled. Ms. kept hope alive with testimonials, successful outcomes, and fearless approaches to issues in need of attention. In 2010, Ms. began to partner with Black Alliance for Education, BAIL, Project Village, Criminal Justice Task Force, Missourians for Alternatives to Death Penalty, Missouri Cure, Change, Consolidated Social Work Services, Inc., Families Against Mandatory Minimums, Catholic Charities, and more. Understanding the variety of cultures, attitudes, reputation, and mission of the groups and organizations, Ms. was selective about how it partnered and positioned in the fight for justice. In everything that we're doing in this fight, you gotta have some partners, and you have to position yourself.
Right.
Meaning stay in your lane.
Right.
Like, that's how we have effective partnerships.
Right.
Stay in our lane. Ms. has afforded to not accept local, state, or federal funding. Therefore, have remained free to support legislation and other issues without favor or limitations in having a voice of issues and concerns. We all got to have that funding, need the money to support the people, but also need the freedom to be able to say what we need to say and do what we need to do to get the job done. During early years, Ms. held a justice rally and march throughout the government district downtown KC, offered a trade-in violent toys for games campaign to change buying habits of people, thus getting guns out of toy boxes. This became the focus for St. Louis Mist, which included groups and adults who met separately at Imagine Schools. So I run a youth camp, you guys, and some of my young people at the camp made these signs. So this went with that to me. Arm your bodies, arm your minds before you arm your bodies. If we did that, we wouldn't have all the issues with gun control and gun violence. If we armed our minds before we armed our bodies. President Obama called for an investigation of the criminal justice system. It was time for accountability, time to enforce assistance available to incarcerated systems. We need true restorative justice. That is the only way that we are going to be healed from mass incarceration.
Right.
Is restorative justice. We can't just lock people up and throw away the key, because when they come out, if they're coming out, they're going to be more violent. So we have to have restorative justice. Another initiative that Ms. supported was Ban the Box. And that movement was to eliminate the box on applications asking if you have ever been incarcerated. Because as you know, you just get your application thrown in the trash. If you don't check that box. So that initiative was successful. Why does Ms. encourage becoming your own best advocate? A mother's son was sentenced to life plus 139 years for murder. He was freed after serving 10 years. Never give up. Keep seeking freedom.
Yes.
It's like teaching someone to fish. That's why you want people to become their own best advocates, so they're not constantly pulling and looking for assistance. They have the knowledge and the fortitude to move on their own. Transitional mentoring.
Yes.
Restorative justice, calls for action, providing plenty for Ms. to promote and engage in. Public awareness, court mentoring, lobby days, petition complaints filed, seminars for providing intelligence were top of the list. Incarcerated citizens' letters did not fall on deaf ears. Many outcomes, such as handicapped, disabled persons, got needs met. Even favorable outcomes occurred when Miss was contacted and aware of issues in need of attention. Once an inmate at the Jackson County Jail had a prosthetic leg lost in property and was placed in a wheelchair. A Miss Advocate volunteered to assist, and soon the inmate was returned his limb and out of the wheelchair. An inmate needed to communicate with family, but the TDD phone was needed. Soon after Miss received the letter, he was able to communicate.
All right.
Amen.
In 2001, Miss members were encouraged to invite others to sign a bill that impacts incarcerated of the cocaine disparity to include retroactive citizens. 300,000 people were released and more deserved and were released. Miss held seminars to address reentry, wraparound services, and in-kind services, housing, transitional living, and more. As needs continue to present, the vast amount of efforts required to address them, it required Miss to decide if it would pursue funding or manage to provide advocacy and support without it. And again, Miss decided that it would continue to encourage people to be their own best advocates.
Right.
Miss remains free to support what they wish and not be influenced with favor and money. Families of the incarcerated are not misled to force and follow the money and play the game. With much to learn and do, Miss encouraged in learning inmate rights, visitor rights, and overall systems, called to state's DOC, Department of Corrections, and Federal Bureau of Prisons.